Hello and welcome back to another songs ranking. Um, this time, if you haven't seen the Alice in Chains album ranking video, check it out. Um, Interesting rankings, more different than I expected. I'll say that much. Between our rankings, here we are with our songs though, which is where the real differences usually lie,
Yes.
where we have all sorts of different weird deep cuts and such. Plenty of different discographies we've already done on the channel. I'm joined today by Ryan. Ryan and I did Supergrass already. I've done a few with another friend of mine, Sam, like Roxy Music and Depeche Mode, Elliott Smith, Talk Talk. If any of those tickle your fancy, there's a whole playlist of them on the channel. So have a little binge. But for today, we're doing the songs of Alice in Chains, and we do top 10 songs here. I've got a few honorable mentions as well, which will roll off at the end. We take it in turns doing one apiece because we like to
Yes.
give each song its own individual shine. So I promised it for the SAP fans, but there is a song from SAP on my top 10, and it is the song Brother at number 10.
Yep. Nice.
Really love the song. Vocals by Jerry with the female backing vocals, quite a unique sound for Alice in Chains. Great acoustic track. Just really epitomizes what they do well in this kind of track. It's like they've got their heavier mode and they've got their more acoustic mode. And I sort of talked about the parallels to Led Zeppelin, and that is another way in which they compare, is that they had two very distinct styles that they went into, which is kind of cool. So yeah, Brothers, my number 10. Pretty cool song.
Yeah. I talked about my number 10 a little bit on the album ranking video. Number 10, Them Bones.
Ooh, nice.
You've probably got it higher. But like I say, it's it's a really fast rocker. Which I don't do too often. I normally do the sludge metal or whatever. Um, but yeah, it's great harmonies, great vocals, as always. You could say great vocals on any of the classic um Alice in Chains songs because he's such a good singer. And the guitar solo is wicked. And yeah, it's just a fast rocker to start off the which is the best album,
Yeah, yeah, sure.
in my opinion.
um,
Yeah.
I love how that song starts with just like that and it's like you're
Yeah.
straight into
Oh,
it.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And to
I
kick
think
off an album like that,
we talk about how good a
that's how
vocalist
you do it.
Lane is, but I think part of what makes the sound great is, like you said, the harmony between Lane and Jerry's
Yes.
and how they work together. That is really the selling point, I would say, for Alice in Chains. My number 9, we are going to Self-Titled, and I'm going with a song I mentioned in the album's video as well, Over Now, which is takes a while to be over, but I don't mind because it's
Nice.
a great song.
Yeah.
7 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh, is really epic for them. You know, they do a lot of long songs, but not many of them have this like grand epic feel. It's usually that they're sort of like relentless, sort of like you said, sludgy songs. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but this one really does have an epic feel. I love the central riff. The vocal is powerful. About 3 minutes in, you get the acoustic breakdown, which I really love. This is probably the track that reminds me of Led Zeppelin the most. Obviously, not the vocals, but the instrumental. And I love it. So it's my number 9.
Yeah. That's a great pick. My number 9, quite similar to my number 10, actually. It's We Die Young
Mm,
from the
yeah,
debut album. Another opener, and once again, it's really loud, great riff, and a short song. um, yeah, it's just a great riff, really loud, and it's got this really cool vocal melody where he's like shouting, and the next line is it's quiet again, it's shouting, it's quiet again. So yeah, that's a that's a great song.
that's a great pick. Yeah. Um, my number 8, we're going back to back on the self-titled. You probably know what's coming. It's Heaven Beside You, which is my favorite on that album. Um, Really
Yep.
cool acoustic led track, almost like a country vibe to it in parts, which I think is really strange and interesting for Alice in Chains. Um, I just think it's really good. A lot of people put this among their very, very, very best tracks, and it's made my top 10. So obviously, I think it's great. but compare this to some of the other classics, and it's not quite as good for me. That being said, it's fantastic. It is on a very, very consistently great album, and this is the highlight.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm just saying, if you think that's a bit low, I don't love it as much as some people.
Well,
But yeah.
yeah, I mean, I agree. It's my number 8 as well.
Oh, there we go.
But it's obviously got the acoustic riff, which is awesome. And Joey sings a lot more like by himself on this one, which I really like because when Lane comes in, it just adds another layer to it, which is really cool. And yeah, it's country vibe, great song, awesome riff, good builder. It's a great song. Definitely the best on that album.
I can see why people love it because it is the song on that album that like is the most hard hitting, knowing what happened to Lane.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the one that really gets you in the feels. So I can see.
yeah. No, I agree. I think it's in the top 10. So
I mean, yeah, it's a
a
good.
lot of people probably got it top 3, but yeah.
Yeah, it being in the top 10 is an achievement in itself. So
Definitely.
my number 7, we are dipping into dirt for the first time for me, and I've got Junkhead. I think this is probably the most underrated song on that album. I think it's fantastic, the best of the sort of deep cuts from that album, if you can call them that.
Yep.
Is really dark and heavy, and I love that hook with the line, "What's my drug of choice?" That's like, oh man,
That's so great. Yeah,
it's so like dirty and like, ugh, but in the best way possible. You know? It's like,
yeah,
it's just a phenomenal bit of songwriting, and it again, what I love about the best bits on Dirt, well, most of Dirt, is that they make these like really like quite hard to listen to lyrics, but these really catchy, like memorable songs with great riffs, and it's like it's a weird combination. Whenever anyone does,
yeah.
I mean, I was talking about that about Elliott Smith. He does a kind of a similar thing. These really, really sad lyrics set to like, you know, later in his career, he's doing Beatles-esque pop songs, and the lyrics were like about how awful his childhood was. You know.
Oh God, yeah.
I just love that kind of dynamic, which is why Junkhead has landed at number 7, and it could have been higher, but once we get to number 7 and up, it's impossible. I love all these songs so much. So,
yeah. That is a really great song, underrated one. Sadly, didn't make my list, but yeah, that's a great pick. On my number 7, I've got No Excuses. I don't know if it's going to fit yours, but I know you love the album, and yeah, the drums really stand out. Drums, really just almost catchy drums, and it's quite a upbeat sound, not lyrically at all, but like you were just saying, it's quite it's an upbeat sound. It's really catchy and a chill song, like a rare song, Alice in Chains song. You could chill out and listen to this one. Yeah, so No Excuses, number 7.
They don't really do chill out music usually.
No, they don't. This is like the only. Maybe that in a nutshell, but you might start crying.
I'm also going with Jar of Flies.
Yeah.
Line 6 is going to be I Stay Away. Love this one.
Nice.
Great acoustics. The way the acoustic guitar sounds on this album is probably the big standout for me. It just sounds so, I don't know, something about it just sounds so crisp and like pisses through everything. And I think the strings on this one are a really good choice, really heavenly. It could have been a bit too syrupy by putting big strings on an Alice in Chains song, but it works really well.
It works, yeah.
Again, I wrote down Led Zeppelin vibes because it kind of reminded me of Going to California a little bit from Led Zeppelin 4. So yeah, that was my number 6. I Stay Away.
Very nice. Yeah, my number 6, from the Unplugged album, first appearance for the Unplugged album, Got Me Wrong. Yeah, it's a really catchy one. Maybe one of the most catchy songs I've got. Great harmonies, and once again, there's that bit where Lane does a line, then Joey repeats the line, and then that repeats for quite a bit, and that's just the dynamics of them two together. The chemistry is brilliant, and like that adds so much to their songs, and that's a great example of it. So yeah, big fan of that one from the Unplugged album specifically, but the original could probably get in the top 10 as well, but specifically the unplugged version is the best.
Put it up a bit higher because of the unplugged version. Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
top five time. Okay, this is so difficult. My number five. We're gonna stick with Jar of Flies, and I'm gonna go with Don't Follow, which I spoke about how much I love that song in the that sort of middle stretch from track 2 to track 6 on that album is on the EP. Sorry,
Mm,
it's just
yeah.
amazing. It's really melancholic. I love the guitar, really gentle vocals compared to what you usually get from Lane. He's usually doing a lot of like harsh vocals. This one's like quite gentle. And then again, the harmonica comes in, really cool to have
Yeah.
that harmonica come in, adds a unique flavor to it. And then there's a cool breakdown, instrumental breakdown at the end, which I love. So yeah, Don't Follow is my number five. It was actually higher before I re-listened to all these songs. It was probably number three, but it just slipped down just a little bit.
Very good. That's a great pick. That's a great pick. My number five, another one from the Unplugged album, Down in a Hole.
Mm.
Whether that's a hot take that I like the Unplugged one more, I'm not sure, but the original could probably be five as well, just as easy. It's both brilliant and super sad song. A really sad song. And the Unplugged version makes it more sad because it is acoustic. And yeah, his voice, the vocals, you can feel the pain in his voice. Well, I feel like I can. And yeah, it's got a great opening line as well, which is something I think they do quite often. Bury me softly in this room, the way he sings it quite, really slowly. It's brilliant. So yeah, number five, Down in the Hole, Unplugged.
Yeah, that did have a good shot at my top 10, but the original
Ooh.
version, I mean, but not quite.
Yeah.
Number four, I can't believe I'm putting this in number four. That's insane. But my only song from Facelift had to be on here, Man in the Box. Come on, this is just
Yeah. Okay.
absolutely classic.
Come on.
It is probably like I think they have so many great choruses, but the Jesus Christ moment in that chorus is like it's like he's just shouting for someone to just like understand what he's talking about, which
Mm,
is really cool. Really heavy song lyrically and musically, as a lot of their stuff is, but also really catchy and melodic and addicting to listen to. I would say is this one. It's a real grower. Um, I think
yep.
one of their finest songs. And if someone was like, "This is Alice in Chains' best song," I'd be like, "Sure."
Yeah. Okay. Well, my number four from the Dirt album, I've got Wood. It's a great song. It's obviously got the bass, maybe one of the most catchy songs they've got. Um, chorus as well. Like you're saying earlier on, it's so catchy, but lyrically, so, really sad chorus. It's obviously got the bass intro, which that's
Oh,
a
yeah,
big standout.
that's awesome. Yeah,
And yeah, the vocals, of course, are just amazing. Like when it's shouting, just yeah, I'm screaming so loud, and yeah, it's a brilliant song, brilliant rocker. Number four.
I think there's the bass doesn't really stand out on a lot of their songs to me, uh,
No.
especially the reunion albums because you can't hear the bass because um,
Yeah.
but that song in particular is one, yeah, where the bass does really stand out, especially in the intro. Really thick sound, which I like.
Mm.
Number three is my favorite song from Jar of Flies, and it's going to be
Mm.
No Excuses, which is the song that
Nice.
I listened to Jar of Flies and I was like, yeah, that was good. And then this song was like lodged in my head all the time. I was like, I kept going back to that and I thought I should probably go back to the whole thing. Man,
Yeah.
man, No Excuses is so good. Such a memorable chorus. Again, the sound of the acoustic as well. It's just like an absolute classic song to me. Um, I don't think you could pick a hole in it. Like, it's a completely flawless song. And I think it shows the best of what they were doing on Jar of Flies within this song. So No Excuses is my
Yep.
number three.
Yeah, that's a great pick. I'm sticking with Dirt for my number three, and I've got Rooster,
Nice.
another classic, another one of their big songs. It was pretty close with the unplugged version for this one. Could have easily put that number three, but I've gone with the original. And like I was saying about the opening lines, this one, great opening line. Always sings it slowly once again. Sings it slowly, but really well. Ain't found a way to kill me yet. And it's got great build up, and then it's got the pow moment, the bang moment. It all kicks off, and yeah, it's a brilliant song, really memorable. And it's got the intro and the outro the same with the oohs, and yeah, it's a brilliant song.
Yeah, Rooster is a classic for a reason.
Yeah,
I didn't it didn't get much consideration from me just because I like
no, I
other
know, but
songs more. I don't dislike the song. I like the song, but it wasn't really one I thought about including in the top 10. But a good pick nonetheless. You probably know my top two. I would say I'm not so sure about your top two, but you probably know mine. I think my number two
yeah,
is
no, one of them.
the opening track from Dirt, which is Them Bones. Um, I think like that chorus is just to have to have a chorus that catchy that is the lyric is I feel so alone. I'm gonna end up a big old pile of them bones. It's like it's one of the most depressing lines you could think of,
I
but
know.
it's so catchy. And then you find yourself singing it, and you're like, "Wow, why am I singing that?" That's it's like
Yeah,
it's a bit worrying, but at the same time, it's just a really good, like you said, short and sweet. Really showcases their sound. Like I said, the scream at the beginning, the really like hard riffing that's going on, power chords. Just love it. Uh,
mm.
Them Bones is my number two. It's probably I'm thinking about the 90s. It's probably one of my favorite songs of the 90s. It's not even my favorite Alice in Chains song. So it kind of shows how strong
Yeah.
they are.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, my number two, we're into the Unplugged album again, and I've got Nutshell.
Mm.
When I listen to this one, often I'll watch the video because you get to see them all come out one by one, and then Lane obviously gets a massive cheer, and it's a really good watch. But I've gone with this version specifically because it's sadder. It's sadder than the original. They're both super sad. Original could have easily been number two as well, but just the live aspect of it makes it even sadder. And yeah, it's a chilled one, super sad lyrics. Um, yeah, and a great closing line. And it's like something like, "If I can't be my own, it'd be better dead," and stuff like that. And it's what I mean. It's a really sad song, but a really good one. So that's my number two.
Yeah. Um, and that leads me to my number one, which as much as I love them bones, this was a pretty easy pick. This is probably
Yep.
a top 10 song of the 90s for me. Probably a top, I don't know, top 100 song of all time, probably, if I really had to pick, which sounds like the most awful, daunting task ever, but it's,
Yeah, that's not fun.
um, but I've gone for Wood,
Yeah,
which what I love about this song, I mean, for one, it is incredibly catchy and such an amazing chorus that is so powerful. But it's a song about being addicted to heroin, right? But I think a
mm.
lot of the lyrics you can apply to yourself because he doesn't
Yeah,
exactly make it vague, but the way he words things, it's like into the flood again. So I made a big mistake. It's like all these little lines. It's like you know what he's
yeah,
talking about, but at the same time, you can apply it
and
to yourself in a different way, even if you're not addicted to heroin. You know.
yeah, I
Um,
really like the line. Try to see it once my way, because yeah, that you can apply that to anything, and yeah, it's a brilliant line.
yeah, I think it is the perfect closing track for that album because it has the energy, but it also is an emotional climax for the album
Yeah,
as well. It's definitely the most emotional song on that album, I'd say. And yeah, I think it's just an all-time classic song. Anybody who likes alternative rock or metal or 90s music or anything even remotely close to any of that should listen to it if they haven't already, because
Definitely.
it's an essential song. But yeah, what's your number one? I don't actually know. I've no idea.
You're gonna kick yourself. It's Man in the Box.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Of course. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, same. It's an essential 90s song. You've got to listen to this one if you like 90s music at all. Um, really good grunge riff, like stabbing away kind of riff, and the vocals are insane. The Jesus Christ bit where he keeps it held note super loud, and then Jerry sings after that, really good, and then it's got a wicked guitar solo. So yeah, it's one that gets stuck on my head. It was my most played song, so I was like, for Alice in Chains, most played song. So I was like, I've got to put it number one.
Yeah, you're making me think I should have put it higher now.
Oh yeah,
Oh well, at number four on a band as good as Alice in Chains is still very
yeah.
good. So I have four honorable mentions that I just want to rattle off at the end. Let's make it five. Let's chuck Down in a Hole in there as well. I didn't write that one down, but yeah, great one. But then I've got Damn That River from Dirt as an honorable mention. Wailing Wasp from Jar of Flies. Again from the Self-Titled. And Black Gives Way to Blue from Black Gives Way to Blue.
Yes. I was hoping you would say that one because I was like, let's not forget about the second hour completely.
Well, we can mostly.
but we can mostly. there's one song which almost gets on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
any honorables for you?
There's lots of. I didn't do any honorables, but there's lots there. There's Frogs from Alice in Chains album. That's a really cool one, a long one with great melody. And again, did you mention that one? That's
I
that's
think,
a great one.
I did.
Yeah. There's lots, but I didn't do any. But yeah.
No, I mean it's fair enough. It's a rabbit hole once you get thinking about different songs.
Yeah.
So yeah, finally we returned with another ranking.
I know.
And hopefully we'll be a bit quicker with the next one. Whether it's we've got a few ideas of what we want to do, a few classic artists because we've done a couple 90s bands now. We're thinking maybe diving into the 70s. We're not 100%. We'll discuss that after we finish recording. But
yeah,
again,
yeah.
playlist of all the different album rankings and top 10 songs. Ryan is on some of them, this one and the Supergrass. So yeah, loads of different types of content for you. New series coming for me soon as well, which is exciting. Collaborations with different channels. So stay tuned, stay subscribed, stay watching. Thanks for joining me, Ryan, for another
no worries
deep dive. And we'll do this again, hopefully sooner than the last gap.
Yes, we will.
We will.
We will be
Make sure of it. Well, we said that last time.
That's a problem. No, but we had to listen to Alice in Chains. Like it's long albums.
Long albums and some of them
slacking.
Some of them slacking.
Yeah.
Anyway, catch you all soon.